Test one, two.
Hey y'all, what's up?
Hello.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Hello,
We
hello.
we are live. We coming to you a little late today. Sorry that it's 9 o'clock. Welcome to our Boston Independent Drivers Guild monthly membership meeting. We are excited to have you here today. I want to apologize in advance because I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm recovering from the flu, and I was really, really hard at work today. But we do have a short but sweet membership meeting for you all. I'm here with Dave and here with one of our founding members, the one, the only Felipe. And so I don't know if Felipe, you could just give us a little history about BIDG and why it was formed and what we're striving for.
Sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so the drivers in 2018, during a pay decrease, all got together, about 100 drivers, and we met a few times, and we were all unhappy about the changes of how the drivers are being treated, how we had to sign contracts at a lower rate, and we decided to form the Boston Independent Drivers Guild, and that was the beginning of drivers helping drivers in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, really nice to see everybody. Hi Beth, hi Dave, and we're all here like a family to help each other. So solidarity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful explanation about who we are, what our organization does to help people. And so tonight, on the agenda for tonight, we are having member updates. So just gonna let everyone know what our monthly membership looks like, how many members that we have added recently to the organization, and that includes supporters too. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm just pulling up the information on the computer. Sometimes it can be slow. And so, wow. Okay. So we have, and this is just, so we have, excuse me, we have 2,330 members right now. So that's according to HubSpot. So anyone that's filled out that survey has signed up for our newsletter. We just want to say thank you so much for your ongoing support. If you also do want to become a member, please go to www.bidg.org and sign up for our newsletter. Stay informed about what's going on, what's happening here. And so, also, just to start us off, I just want to let you know I am the executive director of Boston Independent Drivers Guild. I have been driving for about 7 or 8 years now. I'm doing Uber, Lyft. I've done Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Postmates, Caviar. I think one of them got bought out by the other, but I've done all types of gig work. And I started to drive because at the time I liked that I could basically make some extra money. I had a full time job, I was in corporate America. And I got involved in BIDG because I saw that they were continuously cutting drivers' pay, exploiting people. A lot of times I didn't feel safe as a woman, sometimes as well too. And so that's why I decided to get involved. And so Dave, can you just let us know how long you've been driving and what like sometimes what do you do? What platforms are you on?
I've been driving about 5 years for Lyft, and I've been doing some DoorDash, and I also drive commercial vehicles for a regular living, and I've been doing some rentals with Hertz through Lyft, which has not been very profitable. I've lost money for probably a good 2 or 3 years anyway. So I'm scaling back a lot, but I'm still trying to help people organize and would like to still see people fill out the forms for the complaint for the Attorney General and make sure that gets turned in ASAP. I just sent mine in to release the information. Um, so it's very important that as many people get that in as possible. I've been with BIDG probably 2.5, 3 years now, I believe. I could be corrected if somebody else knows my length. That might be longer, but anyway, I'm really happy to be able to help drivers out, and I have been a past labor organizer and a steward for a bus company. So I really need to see people step up, and hopefully we'll get some benefits that we should have had a long time ago when Uber and Lyft started out in Massachusetts. So anyway, and I'm anxious to see Elizabeth Warren down in Chatham, Massachusetts on Saturday afternoon around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Hopefully she will be coming and there won't be any cancellations. So anyway, I'm going to give the floor back to Beth. Thank you.
Beth, you're muted.
Thanks, Felipe. Thanks. Good looking out, Felipe. So, just wanted to make a quick announcement. So, we are part of the Massachusetts Not for Sale campaign, as I like to call Mass Not for Sale. And we do have something going on called Drivers Anonymous. So, please feel free to sign up for the newsletter, reach out. It's a place where you can talk with other drivers, anonymously, voice your concerns. We have tips, pointers. If you have any questions about rideshare, it's a very supportive and safe space for you to come. And it's usually every 2 weeks on Tuesday. So the next meeting is going to be May 3rd. So if you're interested in coming, meeting other drivers, learning more about what we do, please feel free to attend. We would love to have you. I'm telling you, we really would. And we respect each other, and everything. It's a great space. It's a pretty cool space. Another thing that I want to make an announcement about. If you're a gig worker, a rideshare driver, delivery worker, and you've had any horror stories, if you don't like the sky high gas prices, I know they've come down, feel free to put a mask on. And send us a message, send us a videotape message. If you're worried about retaliation, put a mask on and just voicing your struggles, you can feel free to send it to us in a message at drive at BIDG. So we're Boston Independent Drivers Guild, but we would love to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to highlight your struggles and also, some of your successes. Why did you decide to do rideshare? What was it that made it attractive to you? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? What do you feel can be improved about gig work? Those are the types of things that we want to hear from. Those are the type of subject matters that we're looking for as well. And so I want to get to, actually, it's going to be really short tonight. Our second to last thing, our item, it's not a thing, sorry. It's an item on our agenda. And just wanted to let you guys know that the Boston Independent Drivers Guild, along with the Mass Not for Sale Coalition, was invited, excuse me, to speak at UMass Dartmouth and give a presentation. I actually was one of the speakers. It was really good to travel down to the Southeast. I hadn't been there for a hot minute. Interact with the young people, the college kids and other people in the labor movement, hear stories, learn about gig work, learn about gig work, the history of it, and why it's so lucrative to corporations, but not so lucrative to us a lot of times. And we just spoke about our struggles. We had someone that, represents construction workers, and he talked about some of the scary and exploitive parts of the construction industry, like, hiring undocumented workers and then threatening them, saying if they leave the house or do anything, they're going to call immigration. And how they were able to get those workers out of there. They weren't paid overtime. They would keep the workers segregated. Like if you were Brazilian, you could only be with Brazilians. If you were Guatemalan, you could only be with Guatemalans. You were Peruvian, you could only be with Peruvians, trying to divide and conquer. You couldn't talk about what you were making, and how that union organizer was able to help those workers get paid. And some of them were actually, they had legal status to work in the United States, and they were still being exploited and taken advantage of, because wage theft is it is actually the biggest form of theft in the United States, is wage theft. An employer cannot pay their workers thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they don't get arrested for that. But let one of us go into a bank and try to rob it, we'll be lucky if we walk out of there with $30K, if we walk out of there, period. And, that's grand larceny theft right there. So we'll be doing some serious jail time. And so we usually only get paid. We don't get paid for all the time that we're online. And so this is something that affects us, that we're not getting paid for the time we're online. We only get paid for Lyft. You only get paid when you have the passenger in your car, or if they cancel the ride and you show up, or on the way there, you might get paid for the time you waited. And Uber only pays you after 10 minutes for long trip pickups. And with food the way it is, gas the way it is, do you drivers think that that's fair? I know I don't. Um, I spoke with the driver today, and they were saying how, they're making $3. They're up in Lowell. And what it is UMass Lowell students driving kids from one class to the other. You get $3 after that. He's not making any money doing Uber Eats, getting paid $2-3 for a delivery. He was saying how even if he gets an airport trip from Lowell to Logan Airport, he's only getting paid $30. Now imagine that. Everyone knows, especially in rush hour, how far Lowell is from Logan Airport. And then you gotta wait for a ride. You don't want to have to pay the toll out of the airport. You gotta wait for a ride. You got your gas, you got your tolls. I mean, that adds up. He was saying how he used to be a professional driver years ago, and to go from Lowell to Logan Airport was $60 each way. So that was years ago. So just imagine that. And he was saying how he wants drivers he wants more representation for drivers. And so that's really what we're focused on. I also had the pleasure of listening to Raheem, being on the panel with Raheem, and he is an organizer for Massachusetts Not for Sale too. And he has years of experience in the taxi industry. And he was talking about how, the taxis used to make more money, than they wanted to cut the pay and exploit the drivers, and how a lot of taxi drivers, were forced into doing ride share, and how it's still not enough money. And so these are like universal themes that we're seeing all over the place. And so does anyone have any thoughts about how like gig work, it could be a great job and everything? What's your thoughts on that? Was anyone able? I did live stream it. Was anyone able to catch it? I think maybe Felipe, you might have seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I was watched a little bit of the meeting with that lady speaking at the beginning. Very interesting.
Beth, were you able to record that?
You're muted.
I should have recorded the whole presentation.
Beth, you're muted again.
I'm muted again? Can you hear me now?
Oh, no, you're talking. You're good now. Yeah, I can hear you now. Did UMass? Yeah, I can hear you. Did UMass Dartmouth do any kind of video presentation, video taping of that?
No. So I was the only one. I think I'm muted. Can you hear me?
You're cutting in and out.
Oh,
yeah, I can hear
let me try to close. Let me try to close some of my windows open. Some of the windows I have open then. So maybe that's why. Let me close this window too. That might be it.
Philip, are you having the same situation? You hear her cutting in and out?
No, I can hear her.
Okay, maybe it's just me then. I'm in Plymouth.
I can hear you too.
Okay, so she was talking about it was really informative. I know a couple of the students just recorded snippets. There was actually a student there who he's a senior in college at UMass Dartmouth. He's doing labor studies, and he actually did DoorDash, and he said it wasn't enough to supplement his income. It was kind of good at first, and then he was able to make some money by referring other drivers. But then once he did that and the demand was lowered, he didn't make as much money. And sometimes he was like losing money. He said he had to stop because it wasn't a stable income. It wasn't what they said it would be. So he was the opening speaker, actually. And I could relate to that because my daughter does DoorDash sometimes. She's a college student as well. And so she's done it to try to supplement whatever income that she makes. So that was really informative. And then there was another student, uh, a female student after that, that talked a little bit about gig work. And she also talked about a big part of gig work, believe it or not, adjunct professors. Why hire a tenured professor that you have to pay a pension to with the state and benefits if you can hire a whole bunch of adjuncts to take their place and not have to give them anything? No benefits, no health insurance, no nothing. And this is what's happening more and more. But she also talked about the Starbucks employees unionizing and Amazon unionizing. And that's really what it's going to take to save our workforce. That's the only way they hold these corporations accountable. I mean, they can't say they don't have the money because, as we know, a lot of these corporations are capitalizing off of, the excuse of inflation, and they're making record profits. So they can't say they can't afford to pay their workers more. So what's their excuse? So that's what they do in order not to pay benefits. They'll have one job, they'll have 3 or 4 people doing one job. And I think the most interesting part was she said that it was Jamba Juice actually did a study and came up with a system where they were cutting people's hours up to 15 minutes and they were saving millions just off of saying, oh, you can leave 15 minutes early, or, oh, we don't need you. Basically having the biggest, or I should say the leanest skeleton crew you can have to save these corporations tons of money. And so it was really interesting and it was really informative, but it was also really inspiring to see that workers are taking their power back. I think Delta said they're going to pay their, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to pay their crew while they're like loading the plane and making announcements, because I guess they weren't paid. Because why? They're trying to unionize. They're trying to unionize those workers. So they're really, really, really scared, especially seeing the success of the Starbucks workers and some of the Amazon workers. So it was really interesting. I really enjoyed myself and meeting other people that are fighting for worker rights, fighting for us, basically. So
Yeah,
does any
I would have to say the coalition is bringing in an active amount of people, especially with the experience of drivers that really, really want to help drivers, and I think it's a very cohesive embrace with the Boston Independent Drivers Guild and the coalition of mass, mass not for sale. Um, I spoke with some of the drivers. They were very, very nice and empathetic. So it's fantastic.
And like I said, so it is 9:24. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So I'm just gonna make a couple more announcements. We do have Drivers Anonymous, and it's a place for you to actually meet with other drivers. We share tips, share our wins and our losses. And that is May 3rd. And also, we are having May Day events. So May Day is May 1st, and that is the original Labor Day. It's not really in September, and people died. It's when we recognize workers from all over the world. Like, people died to give us a 40-hour work week. And there's a reason why we have child labor laws, and there's a reason why we have a minimum wage. Okay, because employers would pay us nothing if it were legal. So, you know, which is crazy. So we are just, we're excited about that. We're having events. We're going to have an event in Lynn. We're going to have an event, believe, East Boston. We're having them all over the state. They're taking place all over the world. We invite you to check out Massachusetts is Not for Sale Facebook page for more event information. Get plugged. I actually posted in the chat because we want you to stay informed. We're inviting everyone to them. Find the event that's closest to you. Let's participate. I'll be participating in the event. I believe I'm going to be at the Boston event, but don't quote me on that. I might switch out. I might swap out. And does anyone have any final thoughts? We're going to do the good of the order tonight.
Yeah, I was wondering. I got in contact with about 3 people that were they contacted me through Facebook Marketplace, Facebook, that have had deactivation issues. Just and I think I did see an email come in or two in the past 6 days of new people being activated. Did you see that, Beth? I was just curious.
No, I've been out in the field
No.
and then I've actually been out sick. So,
All right, I'll double check tomorrow. I think there's a couple of them that signed up, so as to give us information of deactivations.
I'm over here. Oh, I found it. So I'm going to put this in the chat. So this is a Massachusetts Mass Not for Sale Facebook page. Like it, follow it. We appreciate the support. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us tonight. You could have been anywhere else, but we appreciate your time. And until next month, or actually we'll probably be live streaming. We'll be live streaming for the main day event. So you might see us sooner rather than later. Anytime we do an event, helping you guys out, informing the public about what's going on, talking about our struggles, our issues, what we want out of gig work. We like to keep you involved. That's why we always try to also live stream and stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Just in case you can't make it, you can always watch it at a later date. And we do replay our live streams too, usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because those are the days that most drivers take off the most. So I motion to adjourn monthly membership meeting. Can I get anyone second that motion?
Second.
Okay, I bid you all adieu.
All right.